Okay, let's talk about a legend. We're going to deconstruct what made Tom Brady, well, Tom Brady. We're going to go way beyond the highlights to really get at the core pillars of his success, that insane longevity, and his almost superhuman ability to turn doubt into fuel. And it all starts right here. Just take a second to read this. This is what the pros, the people paid millions to spot talent, said about him back in 2000. It's just a brutal list of everything a top quarterback supposedly shouldn't be. Poor build, skinny, lacks a really strong arm, gets knocked down easily. I mean, based on this, the guy would be lucky to even make a team, let alone start. And then there's this: 7 Super Bowl rings, more than any single franchise in NFL history. So how in the world does the guy from that draft report, the skinny kid who gets knocked down easily, end up with all the hardware? How did everybody get it so completely spectacularly wrong? All right, so here's how we're going to unpack this puzzle. We're going to walk through the 5 core pillars of what I'm calling the Brady Blueprint. We'll start with that massive chip on his shoulder from day one. Then we'll dive into the underdog mindset that became his superpower. We'll look at how he became the ultimate teammate, how he mastered the art of longevity, and finally, the huge lesson he's carrying with him now that he's off the field. Okay, pillar number 1. It was forged right here at the 2000 NFL Draft. This wasn't just where his career started. This was the moment that gave him a lifetime supply of motivation. And this just puts it all in perspective. Before the Patriots finally gave him a shot at pick 199, 6, count 'em, 6 other quarterbacks were taken ahead of him. These guys are famously known as the Brady Six. And get this, his childhood team, the 49ers, passed on him for a guy you've probably never heard of. You just know that it had to sting. And here's where it gets kind of wild. On the left, you've got what the scouts saw, all the physical limitations. And on the right, you have the cold, hard, record-shattering reality he actually built. You see, the scouts measured the hardware, but they totally missed the software, the mind, the drive, the absolute refusal to lose. Which brings us to pillar number 2, because make no mistake, this didn't happen by accident. It happened because he built this elite, almost pathological mindset. He took every single piece of doubt and he weaponized it. So how do you do that? How do you take being the guy nobody really wanted and turn it into your single greatest advantage? Well, he tells us himself straight up. He used negative energy. For him, anger and disrespect weren't burdens. They were tools. They were a way for him to lock in and achieve this insane level of focus, channeling everything towards one single goal: winning. But it wasn't just about anger. That was paired with this just unshakable, almost crazy self-belief. Can you imagine? You're a 6th-round pick, you barely made the team, and you walk right up to the billionaire owner and you tell him that? He saw something in himself that literally no one else on the planet could see it. He calls this an innate discipline, something he thinks he was just born with. And it's not just about working hard. It's about the thousands of little choices, the ability to say no over and over again. No to the junk food, no to the late night, no to anything that wasn't pushing him toward his ultimate goal. For him, it was just part of who he was. But look, that internal fire and discipline, that doesn't win you 7 championships by itself. And that's where our 3rd pillar comes in: Brady's obsession with becoming the ultimate teammate by dedicating himself to the process and the people around him. This right here, this is the whole philosophy. He got it. He understood that his own success was completely tied to the success of everyone in that locker room. It was never about him being above the team. It was about embedding himself so deep in the team that he raised the bar for everybody. And he lived this through a pretty simple but relentless process. First, every single practice rep was treated like the final drive of the Super Bowl. No wasted motion. Second, he had a crazy photographic memory. After a couple of years, he barely needed the playbook, which meant he could just focus on executing. And third, he loved a culture of accountability. He wanted his coaches to be as hard on him as they were on the rookie who just walked in the door. Now, this obsession with the process allowed him to do something that almost no athlete in history has ever done. And that's our 4th pillar: defying the clock. I mean, just look at these numbers. This is not normal. At age 40, when most guys are long gone, he was the MVP of the entire league. Then, just for fun, he switches teams at 43, learns a whole new system, and wins another Super Bowl. He didn't just hang on, he actually got better. So how'd he do it? He basically treated his body like a high-performance engine that needed constant tuning. It wasn't one thing. It was this whole lifestyle built on 1,000 small choices. Everything from his diet and hydration to his focus on muscle pliability and making sure he recovered fully. He was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. But, and this is so important, his evolution wasn't just physical. To win in Tampa Bay, he had to completely change his leadership style. He went from the quiet, lead-by-example guy in the rigid Patriot way to being this vocal, emotional leader that his new team needed. He had to adapt everything. And that brings us to the final pillar of the Brady Blueprint, and it's maybe the most important one for the rest of his life. It's the core belief that the work is never, ever finished. You know, now that he's without the strict schedule of the NFL, he talks about feeling like he's just spinning in a washing machine, trying to figure things out. His new challenge isn't winning a game, it's finding balance, it's applying all those same principles to his personal life, and especially to being a dad. And this really gets to the heart of what he's learned. Success, whether it's in sports or just in life, it's not a straight line up. It's messy. Life is always going to throw stuff at you and knock you off balance. The real work, the real challenge, is just finding your way back to your center, again and again. So when you step back and look at his whole story, from the 199th pick to the undisputed GOAT, it's just this powerful reminder that the things that truly matter, your drive, your discipline, your resilience, they don't show up on a scouting report. You can't measure them with a stopwatch. And it really makes you wonder, what potential do each of us have that the rest of the world just can't see?